Hello everyone and welcome back. This is game number 1 of the winners round semifinal match between Ares and Sir Tree of Arbor. We are here on Waterfalls and it was Ares that chose this map. He is over on this side in the blue as the Hojo, and he has a Yari spear wall going on here in the front. Rank 7 Yari Ashigaru. Looks like by my count there are 5 of them along with 3 bow warrior monks and some decent cavalry support. Great guard coming out of the trees momentarily, and some light cavalry down on the low ground with some Naginata monks. Over here for Tree, he has some light cavalry in the low ground as well, and also bringing Yari Ashigaru's spear wall. Not surprising if you know Tree, that's been his standby throughout this tournament. And these are rank 8 and 9 Yari Ashigaru that we see here, along with 2 match-like Ashigaru, and interestingly, a bow hero, and 3 Naginata monks. So very strong spear wall side on both ends, taking up the front here in a very narrow playing field here on the top of Waterfalls where every infantry battle tends to play out. So a very strong army to bring into this map. It's going to work well for both sides, but who has the support to really pull it out? A lot more missile support, I think, on Ares' side with the 3 bow warrior monks. The matchlocks really won't have any sort of firing angle on this one without some serious maneuvering. And the cavalry seems to be about even for both sides. Those 2 great guard could be a big factor. There's just not a whole lot of room for them to maneuver. So I think this is one map where missile units are really actually more valuable in support than cavalry. Now it's the Naginata monks actually taking the first rush into the enemy Yari Ashigaru. Light cavalry and the general coming back as well. See, there's just not enough room with this ridge right here and those ridges on the side. Just not enough room for cavalry to really make that big of a deal, even though both the infantry lines are rather compact at this point. Down at the bottom, it looks like Ares in blue has won the cavalry battle on the bottom. Will be able to capture the archery dojo at his leisure. But it looks like Tree is going to be the one getting, and he just got the sword dojo, so that'll be huge. Has more Yari Ashigaru and a higher quality than Ares, and we see the wavering already. So if he can push through this front line nice and early with that sword dojo, it could be huge. But he's under a lot of pressure right now because the 3 bow warrior monks are shooting into the general. He's already down to 14 men, so if he loses this general early, that could be very big, especially because the great guard has just come out of hiding and is ready to impact this battle. But that's going to be it for pretty much all of Ares' infantry. He has 2 Yari Ashigaru still standing and fighting, and a couple Naginata monks are now joining the battle. But Tree really just smashed through that with that elite Yari Ashigaru front line. But here comes the big sandwich from Ares on both sides, hitting exactly the same time on the general. Only killed about 2 men, but the general will surely be taken off the field very shortly. Matchlocks are firing as well, but ooh, a great guard comes from the side and just manages to catch them off guard. And Ares also has a good firing angle here for actually on the matchlock or on the Yari Ashigaru. But still, his whole infantry line was just smashed so early. He's got a big hill to climb up if he wants to win this one. General is also dismounted and at 9 men in stand-up fight and wavering as well. So if he loses this general, I think that's going to be it for Ares. Having that building disadvantage and just a big numbers disadvantage, especially he doesn't really have any mainline infantry left at all. Just has this one Naginata warrior monk and this Yari Ashigaru over here. For a decent amount of cavalry, does give him a mobility advantage, so if he can get some really clutch charges off, it may not be over yet. But there's a lot of wavering. A lot of his support units are going down. 1 bow warrior monk is gone. 1 is at 37 and wavering. The other's still fine. But again, just the numbers at this point. Tree just really smashed through that infantry line early, and that's going to be huge. A match like Ashigaru are going to get tied down by the Yari Ashigaru and surely routed fairly quickly, especially the general being gone, and more units are breaking one by one for Ares. And it looks like Tree is going to take game number 1 on his opponent's home turf. So winning on the road in that first game is always huge. It puts you in a great position to take the win, and he could very well be punching his ticket to the winners round finals in the next game. The battle, of course, not over yet. 1 Naginata monk is making a last stand and cleaning up the bow warrior monks over there as well. So this is going to have a Naginata monk, a great guard, and a matchlock Ashigaru to try and turn this around. Maybe some really clutch matchlock volleys and cavalry charges could maybe turn this around with those big morale shocks against the Ashigaru, but it's not likely, especially because the hero is still on the field, and he will be inspiring the forces of Tree. Naginata monk is hit from both sides now, will be wavering and very tired, so that will surely be off the field very shortly. The great guard moving in and hitting the bow hero quite hard, down to 2 men and wavering. And there goes the bow hero, maybe thinking of starting a chain route with the wavering, but the light cavalry is going to come in for Tree. And oh, Ares has to stop his matchlocks to get a shot off. Manages to stop him just in time to start getting shots, but not going to be enough, and the light cavalry is going to make it there and crash right into the matchlocks head on and take them out. Or at least hold them down long enough for the infantry to get there, and then they will be the ones to finish it off. Now wavering both the matchlocks and the Great Guard, light cavalry coming in and routing these last two units. And there it is. Tree is taking game number 1 on Ares' home turf. Great battle there, very patient, well done by Tree. See you back in the main menu. Now that Yari Ashigaru's spear wall has gotten a lot of attention here in this tournament for being a pretty good setup for these classic battles at least. And you really see the importance of having experienced Yari Ashigaru front line, as those rank 8 and 9 Ashigaru just tore right through the rank, 5 or 6 of Ares. It really makes a big difference. If you're going to use that Yari spear wall, you got to have experience. We've seen people try and do it with fresh Yari Ashigaru, and it just doesn't work. But it sure as heck does when you have rank 8 and 9, so it's a good way to do it. And Tree has definitely deserved his place in the winners round semifinal, as he's really just crashed his way through that winners bracket using the same army in pretty much every battle. His opponents have had plenty of time to study it, but can't quite seem to crack it. We'll see if Ares can do that in game number 2. Look at those devastating losses. Tree barely lost half of his force, and Ares lost almost all of his. So just a lot of raw power in that setup. But I mean, we saw in that battle there just wasn't a whole lot of support. So if you can really neutralize that support and get your cavalry around to the rear, I think it could be very beatable. But no one's really been able to do it yet. We'll see if Ares can do it in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you there.